Hello, I'm Keel. This is Manning. Today we are going to take a look at an update on the Hawaiian Ti plant that I am attempting to rescue. I'll put a couple of snippets in there of what we did. It's been about a month since I cut the tops off of them, put them in some water. I took a piece and stuck it in some soil here. I tried it 3-4 different methods. So we got the water with the leaves on it, the straight into the dirt, and just the stem straight in water with no leaves. And I'll get this up close here in a second so you can see what's going on. And then we also had laid some cuttings like this sideways in some dirt to see if those would grow as well. So 1 month later, let's see what we got. Let me get this up here closer, you can see. This was the most success that I can see. You can see the roots here quite well. Look at that. Looks pretty good. So I think I'm going to put these in soil. This one looks pretty good. This one looks pretty good. Look at that. I'm very, very happy with that. Top looks pretty good. This brown that you see on there is from before we did the cuttings. Let's take a look at the other ones we got here up close and personal. I don't know, obviously, what the roots look like on this one. You can see this piece here is still nice and green. You have these dead leaves. The stem looks solid. We're going to take a look. I don't recommend doing that if we weren't kind of experimenting with this. I would say just leave it in there and let it go until it sprouted some more leaves. This looks like it might have been a little damaged at some point in time, but it's calloused over. And like I said, it looks like new shoot there, new shoot on this little one. So, and we got one more here. The water's a little green. I have been dumping this out every couple of weeks or so anyways, but I haven't recently. This is getting some sprouts on it too. Now I don't see any signs. Well, maybe a little something happening here. I was gonna say I don't see any signs of any leaves yet. The top's calloused over pretty good, but it is definitely starting to get roots. Much, much slower than that one over here in the vase that had the leaves left on it. I'm guessing that's because the leaves allow it to still absorb some light and go through photosynthesis, etc. So if you are new, welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by. I greatly appreciate it. If you've visited me before, thank you so much for returning, for coming back. That also obviously is appreciated. And if you've subscribed, I can't tell you how much that means to me. I really, really thank you. Hopefully at the end of this video, if you haven't subscribed, maybe you'll consider it. I'm not planning to be an expert. I'm just a plant lover, doing some experiments with stuff. So a lot of these plants I've never grown before. I've had house plants since the 70s, the late 70s, early 80s. But a lot of these plants weren't, I'm gonna say they weren't available commercially like they are now. So I just didn't see them around. Anyways, what we're gonna do, I got some potting soil here. we are going to open this up and see what we got. See if we have any roots on here. It doesn't feel like there's really any roots there, but I could be wrong. Interesting. Kind of what I suspected. I don't see a root to be found on the dirt. Whoa. So what we're going to know, I haven't been drinking. Do you see any roots on that? I don't. It's feeling a little mushy, to be honest with you. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to pull a switcheroo. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave this one in that little thing of water. This guy's going to stay in there. Let it continue on with some roots. I'm going to take these two that have the roots on them. That's very interesting. So that tells me this is the way to go. You know, it's kind of weird because I've always kind of leaned towards propagating other things like pothos and the Brazils and stuff like that directly in dirt versus in water and then in dirt. I don't know why, but these guys, I think the water method is okay. Roots of this pot's not going to be deep enough. I want all of these roots down in there. So if you can see, the last of the roots is right here. So I'm going to get another pot. I am going to put this guy in the water, and we'll keep an eye on it. I might have to drain some of that water out of there. That's too high, or put that in a shorter. It's got bubbles coming up out of it, so that base of this thing is hollow. It is starting to rot down there. So we'll put this in a shorter pot so it's not standing that high up in water. But for right now, it's gonna sit there. And let me find a taller pot for these guys. And I got pots everywhere. Save your pots, folks. Your nursery pots, you're always gonna end up reusing them. So hang on, I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got this one. It's a little dirty on the outside, but that's okay because we're just trying to get it rooted. It's going to go back in the tent. I'm going to show you that what I call my intensive care unit, where I've had these under grow lights and on some shelves close to grow lights with some plastic around them just to kind of maintain the temperature and humidity. All right. Perfect. So these are going to go back in there. I like to use kind of a chunky soil. So this side is basically orchid mix. Well, it is orchid mix. And I almost like to use a half and half. I'm a pretty heavy waterer, so I need something that's gonna allow the water to flow through pretty quick. Okay, let's stick these two guys in there. Yeah, this is like the perfect height. Now what we're gonna do is we'll stick them in here, leave them until they fill this pot up nice and full, and then we'll transplant them into something else. So, but I think this is the perfect height for right now. So again, I don't have any specific recipe that I use as far as 50-50. That's about what it is, probably 50-50. But I don't add any extra perlite or any of that stuff, and I'm not knocking that. You know, whatever works for you. You guys, think it's a lot like cooking. You kind of find out what you like and what your plants like, and then you stick with it. All right, there we go. That was easy enough. I'm excited to get these guys growing. And then I'm going to show you what's happening with the stalks that I left in the ground and the ones that I laid sideways. We're going to take a look at those. But that's good for this guy. All right. So let's put the lid on this and head inside and take a look at the rest of that. This is where I kept the cuttings and the stumps from the main plant in what I refer to as the intensive care unit. Grow lights, plastic to kind of keep the humidity level up. And as you can see, I can't see much, really anything happening here. Possibly right there. Let me try to get you focused in. Possibly right there, a shoot coming out. Let's see. Let's get a little closer. I think it is. Right there. Nice. That's the first I've noticed that. Let's zoom in on the rest of it, shall we? See if we can find anything happening. These stumps are nice and solid still, so I don't see any rot. The tops have calloused over nicely. Do we see? Let's see. There might be something else. Another sign there. Let's see. Get in. How about that? What do you think? See that right there? It does indeed appear to me like we're getting some growth there and there. Now, it's not much, granted, but that's a good sign. Let's check this little one out nice and close. I'm kind of digging this zoom. I think that is another sign right there. How about that? Okay, so it's been about a month, I think. I'll go back and look at the exact time frame, but I think it's been about a month. Yeah, I think that's definitely growth. I definitely do. Yay, yay. Just looking at it from a distance, it sure didn't look like anything was happening, quite honestly. But now that I zoom in on it, I do see some action. Now, these were I laid them just sideways in the flower box that I had. This was a Potha leaf that fell off and I just stuck it in there. As you can see, it's rotting. But anyways, this, I don't recommend you doing this, but for the sake of experimenting and views, I'm going to loosen this up and see what's happening with it. I think I might see. Look, I think we got some roots and stuff starting there on this one. But clearly, the ones in the water are the clear winners so far. Let's see. There was another piece here, I think. Okay, this doesn't look so good. Let's see. I don't see anything happening with that. Whoops. Where are you? Where are you? I can't see anything going on with that. Let's get it back in there. And normally I wouldn't suggest disturbing these, but like I said, since we're... Now this one looks like it may have rotted. That's not nice. Let's see what we got happening. Maybe not. Look. I think we got roots starting on that one. It's just very slow. This piece feels really light though. Almost like it has rotted, but... Okay, so let's put you back in there. This... I think... This could be... I think this is from a piece of Dieffenbachia. I don't think this is from the tea plant that I put in later, and I don't really see anything happening with that. So, all right. Well, so we've got a little bit of growth happening. If you're curious to see how these things continue to grow, then please, again, consider subscribing. Also, remember, do what makes you happy and be kind. See you later.